Senator, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ambassador DeSombre, thank you for coming to speak with me in my office yesterday. I'll jump right in to follow up with our conversation. If confirmed, it will be your responsibility to fight for the people and programs under EAP. And based on your past experience in the business world and as ambassador to Thailand, I think you will be very well positioned to do so. We talked about how your experience in Bangkok gives you particularly good insight into the value of the interagency presence in the region. Can you elaborate a little bit on some of your positive examples of leveraging that interagency effectively, like the U.S. TDA, the IC, law enforcement, and how you'd like to empower our missions in the region to continue that work?
Senator, thank you very much for the question. Again, thank you for making yourself and your staff available to meet yesterday, and also for, obviously, your support last time when I was up for nomination. I appreciate that as well. Yeah, the nature of our presence overseas is very important, and the interagency aspect of that can be very valuable. Some examples in Thailand, for example, we have the International Law Enforcement Academy in Thailand and very significant law enforcement cooperation in various different arms of both the Thai law enforcement but also regional law enforcement that come to Thailand to train at the ILEA Academy is a great example of ways that we can increase connectivity and also promote more appropriate law activities by police officers and law enforcement agencies. On the economic front, from the deal team perspective, I used with USTDA quite substantially, particularly on the lines of effort on infrastructure and aerospace and defense, and ways that we could get studies done that could show the feasibility of various different projects. And I mean, the list goes on and on. There's lots of things that we can do together, and I believe that that will be my role in EAP to really make sure that we do that in all the countries around EAP.
Thank you. Similarly, there's actually quite a sizable American population throughout the Asia-Pacific region, folks who need access to U.S. citizen services and American businesses who are trying to operate on a level playing field in the region. How do you quantify the value of retaining an active presence across this large region and the economic value of business deals that are facilitated by our embassies and consulates? I mean, basically, how do we make sure that our foreign service professionals are given credit for the work they do that directly contributes to American prosperity?
Senator, that's a very good question, and clearly the safety and security of Americans overseas is one of the top priority of the State Department, and ensuring that they have sufficient access to consular services and others is critically important and is something that we need to ensure happens. Obviously, some countries are more densely populated and have more Americans than others, and so where we have those services is something that we obviously need to look at from time to time. But I definitely believe that that's important, both in terms of the services for the American citizens, but also for promoting the commercial activities of American businesses in those countries as well.
Thank you. Touching on another issue related to our nation's prosperity, a real economic issue that impacts folks here at home, although they may not all realize the connection, is the prevalence of these cyber scam centers that are targeting Americans. A lot of them are originating throughout Southeast Asia. Can you talk about what types of existing authorities you can use to help address this issue if confirmed, and any actions we can take on a multilateral or bilateral basis?
Senator, thank you very much. I am very much aware of those cyber scams. Obviously, the countries of particularly Burma, Cambodia, and Laos are where many of them occur. I understand that over $10 billion has been lost of cyber scams by U.S. citizens. So you're absolutely correct. This is a critical issue and something we need to try to address, and something I will, if confirmed, look into the best way of addressing it. We clearly have ability to go after individuals that are violating laws and be able to do that. Obviously, sometimes that may not have great effect if they're in a country that I can't do anything about them while they're there. But I think in those countries, for example, greater cooperation in the law enforcement area so they can improve their capacity to enforce their laws, because in many circumstances these are happening either with or without the consent or approval of the relevant country. They're happening there, and sometimes increasing law enforcement cooperation to increase capacity could be one way that we might think about addressing it.
Thank you. Look, the United States is a Pacific nation. People forget that. And EAP is full of critical allies and partners. I hope to see that reflected in how we prioritize our engagement and empower our people overseas. If you're confirmed, I hope you and I can work together to make that happen through strong coordination and collaboration between the executive and legislative branches. And I hope that you'll make yourself available to me in my office once you're confirmed.
Senator Duckworth, thank you very much for that, and I definitely will intend to cooperate with this committee on all matters, and I agree completely that EAP is a priority region, and I think, as has been stated, I mean, China is the pacing threat, and we need to address that.
Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and congratulations, gentlemen, on your nominations. Mr. Pratt, let me start with you.